All right. Good morning, everybody. All right. So, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Tim Lowenhaupt, and hi. And I'm the current executive director of the Asian Classics Institute, formerly known as that, moving into this new title called the Five Houses. We're not really sure what that's going to look like yet, what the how we're going to make that final transition. But we're really, really excited about the base is way too low. If you could turn down a little bit. Um, so 3 days ago, well, first of all, this is Sarah Blackburn. And she recently joined ACI about a month ago. Um, and she worked at the Three Jewels for 10 years, more or less. I'm exaggerating, I think, but it's about 10 years. And she helped with their transition into the new Three Jewels about 10 years ago. And she was involved in all the things that need to happen to go from one organization to another. All the beauty and all the challenges of rebranding, identity, languaging internally within organization, and then externally, what does it look like? And somehow she was like, I'm coming to Sedona. And her partner is coming to Sedona too. Thank God they're coming together. And he's the director of YSI. And so I was like, what do we do with Sarah? And with her background and with the transition that we're making, I thought she would be a perfect fit to help us in that transition. So welcome aboard.
Thank you. Thanks, Tim, for that lovely introduction. And it's so nice to be here. I feel honored to be a part of something so big and so powerful as ACI. And I'm thrilled to share what I've learned from transitions and creating new centers. So I am so looking forward to sharing what we've come up with. I think you're really going to enjoy it. And we hope that you'll be a part of that transition too. So can't wait to see it and share with you all. Yeah.
And yeah, let's give her another round of applause. Um, I'm really excited to have Sarah, and she has this beautiful way of coming up with very quick, creative ideas, and also taking you where you started and then making it much better and elevating it. So I'm very excited to have her on the team. Um, so what does this mean? Because she said, how are you going to be part of this transition? Like, how are you going to be part of this new ACI, this new five houses? So welcome, everybody. This is your freshman orientation. Um, so welcome, and everybody online as well. I hope you went shopping for your back to school clothes, that you have a new outfit. And I always thought it was weird to get a new outfit for school. Like, Mom, what are you doing? Like, why are you dressing me this way? Then when I started being allowed to choose my own clothes, right? There's some pictures of me from like when I'm 12. I hope they never circulate. My style was a little. Wow. I'm going to repeat that for the recording. Somebody in the back said your style hasn't changed. No, but I think there's something really important. Thank you, Janice. I think there's something really important about putting on new clothes, like choosing something new to look different, to maybe take on a new identity, right? You could be the same person you were yesterday, or maybe you could be someone different today just in a single instant, right? Because why? Because seeds, right? Your seeds are constantly flowing out of you, and they don't have to flow the same way they were flowing a second ago. So with the change to of ACI, of moving into the five houses, we're going to be having the opportunity to create something new. And we're not going to create it in a way where like, here's our new brand identity. Here's our new logo, right? By the way, do you like the V? Yeah. I mean, the Roman numeral 5. Um, we're not going to really say, this is how it's going to be. You like that, Anjali? um, we're going to be asking you, who are you? And who are you in the five houses? And what do the five houses mean to you? You get the opportunity to create something new. And so today we're going to give you that larger picture. What are we doing and why are we doing it? And how you, and hopefully if we do our job correctly, you will be inspired to want to join us on that transitional journey. Because at the end of the day, it's always going to be changing anyway. So just get used to it. Those of you who are attached to ACI, unattach yourselves. Don't worry if you're freaking out. The ACI courses are not going anywhere. They are the foundation of everything. You still have to do your 18 courses. You're not going to get around that. But there's a new way for us to look at them. You'd like to add anything?
Sure. I think that one of the reasons for this transition is that the world needs it. We all have our own flavor of practicing and our own way that these ideas come to life in our everyday. And it we've come to see that the 18 courses are an incredible foundation, but they can also be experienced in different ways. And I'm sure you've met people who connected to these teachings in many different ways. Some people, it might have been through the 18 courses. That was my journey. Oh, right. I'll slow down for translators. We come to these teachings in different ways. So it might have been the courses, or it might have been a meditation class. Or you might have found yourself on some wild retreat. Whatever it is, we want to be able to invite people to learn the same ideas, but in a way that speaks to them. And I can't be an expert in everything. Maybe some of you are, but likely you have your flavor of sharing the practice. So the idea is to create space for all those different types of minds to reach what is so powerful and transformative. So yeah, that's my take on how those 18 courses can develop into different paths for different types of minds.
And another way to think about that is there's different doorways, right? That I have found in my experience that someone might show up for a wild experience at Diamond Mountain and be incredibly inspired afterwards. And then they're like, what's next? And I'm like, 18 courses, 18 courses, right? And everyone goes, what? I got to go to school again? Like, I got to do homework, right? I have to do quizzes. What? And then we're like, no, 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 it's okay. Just, it's your karma. Right? Do you like that one? Do you ever blame someone for their karma?
Yeah, right.
Oh God. But then they go into the 18 courses and they're kind of overwhelming for some people. Like they're extremely academic. There's lots of definitions. I was talking to Duodo this morning or last night, and he was mentioning, he was like, I was staring at the ancient language for 15 years in those courses. And he was like, what the heck is he's like, kind of, the funny thing is if you have if you have resistance to something, it's probably because you need it or you're good at it. And it turns out that he's a wonderful translator, right? So he resisted it for 15 years, right? But then all of a sudden, it was funny because in my translation class last week, he figured something out that the translators didn't figure out. And we were sitting there like, oh, wow, that's a little humbling. But it's also like shows like the power of the practice, just jackass donkey persistence. And all of a sudden he's like, oh, Tibetan makes sense to me. And not everybody has that persistence that he does. For years he wasn't able to travel. He wasn't able to come to programs, right? But somehow he made it work, right? But not everyone has that, has that built-in motivation. But they have motivation for other things. And I've heard people say, "Oh, Tim, I really wish dot dot dot." And we've been talking about it for years, filling in that dot. Like, I really wish ACI would do this. I really wish ACI would give us that opportunity. I love these teachings. I want to serve people. But those courses are just like, just my neck just cracked too. Like, they're intense in a certain kind of way. And it does. And so then some people feel bad. They're like, oh, well, then I can't be spiritual. And that's absurd. That's ridiculous. Right. And I think it's our job to use skillful means, right? To wear different clothes for different people. And people, if you just change things just slightly for people, you're not changing the teachings, duh, right? We still have to learn emptiness. We still have to learn karma. And we have to learn them correctly and accurately. But can we create new doors that we can then shine and be like, people show up and you're just like, have like 3 of the most 5 annoying salespeople, like being like, hey, I got some cream over here for your face. You go to the store and they're just like, I hate that. They're like, you're kind of looking like you're not exfoliating. And I'm like, I don't want your cream. Like, don't put things on my face. I got karma. Well, I don't say that to the people. And then usually what happens is someone shows up and gives me a really good face cream and it works, right? But the thing is, we need that, right? We need different doors, different salespeople, and different methods for people, right? For years, ACI has been, we've been just like, we're saving the world, right? And we have 50 people come to a program. That's lovely. And I was in Taiwan last week and I had this moment. Yeah. Who said woo? I got one woo in the back. And I was at a little park along the river and I was looking up at a bridge and I realized all the cars, people, scooters on the bridge. There were more people on that bridge than than are here in 1 second on that bridge. And the people kept going across the bridge, right? For like rush hour traffic. And I was like, we need to do something about this. There's a lot of people that we can serve, and we can serve them, and they all have unique ways that there is a way to attract them. You know, they want the same things that everybody else wants. They suffer in the same ways. And our job is to have bright, shiny objects that attract them. This is my door. This is the coolest door in the 5 houses. And then you look over there and Sarah's like, no, duh, this is the coolest door. And then we start like being like, no, my door is cooler, right? But we're not really fighting. We're just trying to get people to walk through them, to open something in they have a yearning in their heart, and it's our responsibility to tap into it. And if we don't do it, we failed. That's what I think. And so the part of the idea here is, let's attract more people in new ways. And so that's the idea of the 5 houses. ACI we have the most extensive and complete curriculum that's ever been written down. Yes, all of that, everything comes from the ancient scriptures, the ancient texts. It's all there. But it's like it's in there, it's in a library, and it's, you would have to know where to go and how to look on the shelf, and well, what's in that book and what's in that book, and you kind of, and only people like this guy over here would sift through the library like that, right? And we had someone who did that, and he wrote down 36 intensive courses. And by the way, they get more intensive as you go along. If you hate homeworks now, ACI 28, 29. Oh my God, it's literally a transcript from the class. You should, this is the thing, you just put your phone on and have it create a transcript for you and then just write them out in the homeworks, right? And they take hours and days, but there's a reason for that, right? To make sure that we know what we need to know. Everything is there. It's complete. The path is complete. And now it's our job to dress up and go back to school and make that possible. Make it possible for others. You're not here by accident. I used to feel weird when someone said that to me. But it's not an accident that you're all here. How many people are online right now? Okay, we have 788 people online. All right, there we go. That's still less than 1,000 people. That's 0.0000001% of just the people the human beings on this planet. Okay. There's probably 1 billion bugs between here and the llama house. Okay. Those beings need help too, right? I saved a couple in the bathtub yesterday. But it's not an accident that you're here. And it's not an accident as well that something else is happening besides the opening of the 5 houses, right? And you're starting something today that if you don't recognize it, you'll recognize it in 5 or 10 years. Because this, for most of you, is your first Diamond Way class. when we talk about the preparation for Diamond Way, right? That's what we're doing over the next year or so before you get it officially. Like, what does officially mean, right? But I want to say that no, this is your first class. You're all here. This isn't an accident. It's not an accident. And so we're going to be starting something new with Geshe Michael. What is it? I don't know. What is it going to look like? We have no idea. Right. And I don't think anybody knew when he started Dalam in 2003, 4, 2005. When he started, how does Chloe know that? That's funny. She wasn't even born yet. In 2005, first class of Dalam here at Diamond Mountain, nobody knew what was going to happen, right? Dalam is the first thing you do in Diamond Way. Dalam is for $100. What? Oh, Brian, I heard it first from Brian. You get $100. It's a lam rim. Get it? What are we doing here at Diamond Mountain starting this afternoon at 3:45 p.m.? Not Dalam. Lam rim. Thank you. Right? This is your first course. We don't know what it's going to look like. But think of it this way. This is when it all started for you, right? Back in 2005, that's when it started for everybody who was there. And there are several people in the room right now who were there. Right? And that was the first day for them. And now this is your first day. And you're not going to forget it. And so, oh, that's a nice little whoop in the back. Thank you. And I want you to feel the importance of that. That each of you, there's 1 million people standing behind you waiting for you. 1 million people behind each of you that's waiting for you. They just don't know it yet. Or maybe they do know it and they've just been being like, oh, finally, they're there. They finally got it. They finally understood that they understand how to get there. They understand what they need to do. And so don't take today as just another normal class that you made it to Diamond Mountain or you made it to your Zoom call at your desk or wherever you are in the park, driving in a car. Lots of people listen to Dharma in the car. I do too. It's a lot better than talk radio. And think about how special this is right now, that this is the beginning for you. And then what we're going to be doing, one of them, I want Sarah to talk about the next part because she's the one who brought it up. If you can talk about the service. Yeah.
Sure. I was thinking as we were chatting about what it means to create these 5 houses. And I reflected on the first time I showed up to an ACI course. I was there and Hector was teaching. And I heard actually what resonated for me was renunciation. I heard life with suffering and I was like, yes, someone finally said the truth. But he taught that class. And then at the very end, he said, also, if you want to stay after, I'm doing a project in Nepal and I need some help. And I was like, whoa, that's a cool thing to do. And I want to help people who, are not as well off as I am. And he invited me to serve, is what he was doing. I didn't understand it at the moment. I thought I was just being asked to take some pictures and put names and stories next to it. But it was the beginning of 15 years of serving others, which is the whole point of these teachings. And I think that it's probably not a coincidence that at the beginning of a new type of teachings with Geshe Michael, he presents a new project for us to get involved in that will help more people find these teachings. And the more you study seeds and these ideas, you start to have experiences, right? Like, have you guys had a moment where you're like, oh, this thing is happening because I helped somebody else, right? So if our hope is that these teachings become alive in our heart and transfer into our everyday life, we have to help do that for others. And what an incredible metaphor to like build a house, to create a sanctuary for people to go. And in the way that speaks to them, in the way that moves their body and their mind, they get to hear the teachings and then immediately put them into practice. Just like what I hope you'll do with us. You'll help us create this new entry point, like Tim said, the new door for others to step inside who we hope will be in your position today, just 5 years from now. So that marriage of service and understanding the teachings, I think, is a huge part of why these 5 houses are suddenly appearing in our worlds and in our mind. So yeah, that's how I was thinking about the service piece.
So yes, you're starting on something brand new, a new path for you, you know. And as you get deeper into it, you'll understand the the, the attitudes that come with a diamond way practice and how those change, how those attitudes change you and change the world. And as Sarah said, that the way to do that, the primary way, not the only way, because there's many, the primary way is through serving other people. And so what we're doing here is we're creating 5 new houses, 5 new doorways. And I like the word that she used, sanctuary. It should feel like home to people. They should feel safe. They should feel loved. You know, people are going to show up and they're going to have negative emotions. That's a nice way of putting it. They are going to have challenges. Their lives are not going to be perfect. They're not there because they're perfect already. Duh. Or maybe they are perfect already and they're just showing you what you need to do in your own mental gardening landscape, you know. But those people need help. And even with that view that maybe they are someone suspicious showing me something, they still need help and they need our help. So with that service component, we're going to be developing how to help them. So how are you going to make your practice work? How are you going to make your Diamond Way practice work? Ta-da, the 5 houses. Right? And And what's going to be really cool is that each of those houses, 4 of them, are going to be their own preparation for Diamond Way practice. So you get to be part of something where you get to create, except in the classics house, because we already have 18 courses. So if you want to be cheap and just join the classics house and not do anything, it's already developed. I'm just kidding. There's lots that we can do with the classics house, and that's where our creativity comes in. But each of those houses will have their own unique path. So what we're doing right now is charting that path. We're going to start creating the maps. We're going to start creating what are all of those things that those people are going to do. And guess what? You're going to be doing them in your own practice, and you're going to turn it into a path that then when you're ready to be teachers, ta-da, they get to join the 5 houses and be like, oh, Jackie La, please help me, right? And they will. If you build it, finish the sentence. Thank you. They will come. Field of Dreams, 1989, 90, I don't know, I date myself. That's what happens. But yeah, if you build it, they will come, right? And that's what we're going to do. So how are we going to do it? How do y'all feel? Hey, I know it's 7:30 in the morning. 90% of you are jet lagged. You were up all night. I just did jet lag last week, so I can have some compassion. It sucks. Oh my God. Sometimes it's not bad, and sometimes it's awful. All right, next slide. There we are. Dun, dun, dun. There we go. What house? Which house is yours? Brian, you get a second $100. You didn't even realize you were getting a second $100 for that sound effect. I didn't even ask for it, but he saw me like in my mind conducting the Harry Potter theme song. Maybe he's suspicious. The Sorting Hat. How do we get, unfortunately or fortunately, I'm sorry, for those of you that can't make a decision in life, I apologize about all the stress that's going to come in the next day, because you will have to make a decision. But it's not like a vow where you can't give it back. All right. Just try it out, and you can change your mind later. But I highly recommend that really, really check in with your intuition. It will tell you something very important during this retreat. You'll know. You'll know. And don't worry if you don't know. We're going to have little like stations for you to help figure it out later. So where are you going to go, right? You have to make a choice, right? Every moment in life is a choice anyway, right? I used to stress as a child, you know, that game that has like all the little beads and you have to like jump over them. There's like one hole, and then is that what it's called? Mine was called Hi-Fi Mattel something, you know, where you have to get the thing right in the middle, right? The little peg in the middle, right? So here's little Timmy, right? In the back of the car. We're on a road trip, right? 10 hours in the car. We're like, are we there yet? And they're like, go play the game. Shut up. Right? And every move, it was like existential crisis for like 6-year-old Timmy, because I realized every move was changing the future, and I couldn't go backwards. Even if I went backwards, I was still going forwards, right? And of course, I kept all these like thoughts to myself as a kid. I didn't want to be weird, but don't worry about it, And again, like you can make a choice today and you can change tomorrow. It's okay. Um, but how the sorting hat, what house are you going to go into? So we've made some policies. We put some things into place. So what we're first going to do is we're going to describe very high level what the houses are. And then throughout this program, you're going to have to choose one just for today. Okay. Don't freak out. I know if you want to have a like anxiety choice anxiety support group, we'll have one during lunch because I suffer from obviously I traumatized myself as a child with choice anxiety, right? The tyranny of choice, right? We can help each other 4 steps, no problem. But you'll need to choose one. And then we'll explain exactly what we're doing. But the idea is that Geshe Michael is going to give us raw material, raw teachings. And then we're going to take them into workshops, into the classics house, the Samadhi house, mountain house, staircase house. And we're going to start developing ideas on how to teach them to our unique audience, the unique people that are going to come through those doors. We're going to visualize, who are they? Who are those people that are going to show up when you become a teacher, when Jackie Love becomes a teacher, right? And then we're going to start developing those houses immediately. All right? It's going to be super exciting. I'm stoked, if you can't tell.
The way that I've been thinking about it is like, take for example the Samadhi house, the meditation house. And I like to think about the end goal. Like, what will that look like in 10, 15 years, where people show up to that Samadhi house and they go through those programs. And at the end, they know how to use meditation to reach the highest goals possible. And while they're hanging out in the Samadhi house, they start off with the basics. They learn the preliminaries to meditation. They learn how to actually do it, how to put your mind on an object. And then after 5 years, 10 years, they're able to use that tool to completely rewrite who they are. And then I think about, well, first of all, that gets me so excited. Like, wow, there's so much potential just with meditation. And then I'll think about, well, how do you do all of that? How do you build a house? How do you create programs and volunteer opportunities for people that are naturally drawn to this thing called meditation? And then I think back to Geshe Michael, and when he started teaching those 18 foundation courses, the beginning of the classics house. Who knew back then? And he started with course 1, class 1, probably did the translations the week before, and he began with something. So that, for me, is what we'll be doing this week. We're going to get our big ideas of what is possible with each of these houses. And then we'll get a little bite size of something we could teach. And then transform it into the language of a Samadhi house or a mountain house, or all of those different understandings, those modes of being for people, so that they could understand that teaching in their particular way, in the way that their mind is. So that's how I think of sorting the house and picking a place to live and hang out for a little while. Um, yeah.
So I like how Sarah said that. It's class one, course one. Okay. Don't worry about course 5053, Diamond Way special edition, you know. Don't no, 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 no. Like, we're starting with course one, class one, right? And we'll build. And that's how you build anything, step by step. You take one step, then you take another step. So we're going to go over what what are the personalities of the five houses. All right. So then you can start, you can be like, which one aligns with me? And as I said, you're going to choose one and we're going to workshop it together. We're going to go in separate places. We're going to separate into groups and you're not going to talk to each other. I mean, it's not literal, but one house is going to work over here, the other house is going to work over there. Online, there are 4 Zoom links, and you will join one and not all 4 at the same time. And I know some of you will try. Don't be that student. It creates lung and it gives you a headache. Anyway, that's a different issue. Wonder why I have problems. So let's go through. Now, first of all, there's one little logistical thing to learn. We call it the 5 houses. The 5th house is the diamond house. Can you join the 5th house right away? Wah, wah, no. Okay. Why? Because it's secret. So each of you will need to choose one of the first 4 houses, which will be the place where you will become a master. You will become a master in those techniques, in those presentations of the open teachings. And then when you're ready, you're already here. When your students are ready, right? Then they will ask you for permission to join the diamond house. And then you'll say, no, or not yet. You don't say no, you say not yet, right? You need some more preparation, or let's get you there. What can we do to get you there? Right? So there's 4 houses to choose from. And then the diamond house will be a place where people receive permission to join. Okay. So first house, next slide, please. The classics house. A lot of us, including myself, are very attracted to the classics house. It's the foundation, right? This is the direct from the text, direct from the scriptures teachings. These are the 18 courses, 1 through 18, right? And this is the source, right? And we're calling it the spine of the system. Without that, there ain't nothing else. Like, this is the foundational teachings, the correct teachings, the accurate teachings, directly from the lineage of teachers all the way back to Lord Buddha, right? And this is for someone who has that propensity, like, I don't know, this guy over here, right? Maybe that's his house. I don't know. Maybe he might be attracted to something else. I'm actually, this isn't my house, by the way, even though I'm a nerd. And I'm doing this stuff over here too. By the way, just because you choose one house doesn't mean you can't do the stuff in the other house too, right? Maybe you could, but this is for a certain type of person. This is probably, this is probably a lot of you, since a lot of you have taken the 18 courses right away. Like, this is what brought you here. We didn't have anything else in ACI. 18 courses. 18 courses, 18 courses. AKM, the Russian Ukrainian speaking, another group that's doing ACI courses. 18 courses, 18 courses, right? It's like this mantra they have, right? And it's great, right? And it's awesome. And we're going to tell you how awesome they all are. And we're not going to criticize the other ones because they're all awesome. Got it? But which one sings to your heart? Do you have anything else to add to the classic sense? No. All right. So this is for the people who really like the classical study and everything that goes along with it. If you were a translator, you might like this house a lot because this is where you learn all the things you need to translate. You learn all the ancient languages, right? That's the classics house. Next slide.
Samadhi house. So this is our meditation house. I'm particularly excited about this one because that's how I found these teachings. And this is where folks will be able to go deep into their own hearts pretty quickly via that practice of meditation. And so these are people who are attracted to stillness and want to go into their mind lab. And it's the inner methods that we work on. And meditation today is so popular. Like, how many of you have a meditation app on your phone or started one? Yeah, right?
Or ACI is building one.
Yeah. The hope is that we can create something that will give people that craving they have that we see out in the world and is accessible to today's understanding of meditation, but then can quickly take them deeper and quickly get them to an understanding that really will shift their very mind that is the filter for their reality. And that this house has that kind of potential. And it's going to appeal to a certain group of audience, certain group of people. But if they land in here, they can fly. There's so much potential. Yeah.
Cool. Notice which one is better. And then we're going to, in our marketing communications, we're going to duke it out.
Yeah.
Right. All right. Next house is the mountain house. And for that, I've invited Venerable Sunam to talk about it. Yeah.
Thank you. Morning. Oh, Tim gives me prompts what I need to talk about. I do retreat that I can turn off my phone.
Yes. Oh, wow. That was a Mayan guk if it wasn't one.
Retreat is a completely reset. And I think everybody who has done a retreat can confirm at the other end, you come out as a different person. If you do half a day of retreat, it's a small change. The longer you go into retreat, it's a bigger change. It transforms you. And I would like to use a metaphor. Is it for you? That's the question. I think the first thing which comes to mind is, oh, I'm an introvert. I love to sit in my house. That's for me. But I give you a magical warning. There are lots of angels, bodhisattvas, and Buddhas hanging out. Sometimes it's quite crowded. I'm a musician, and I would use the metaphor. You want to learn a new song. Joe and I are working on a Rolling Stones song at the moment. And you are tempted to imitate it completely. Everything, every bar. But that is not what retreat is about. Retreat is about making it your own. You learn in classic house all the concepts. You learn in Samadhi house to meditate, which you need to know when you go into retreat. But then you go deeper. You take the content and you make it your own. You know, all these cover versions who try to imitate the original and you think, oh, it's just boring. No, that's not what we do in retreat. We make it our own. We infuse it with our experience. We stick to the rhythm. We stick to the melody. But you make it your own. And that is what transforms you. And that what makes you afterwards a teacher that you can teach retreat to other persons. Any comments?
I think she sold it to you. The one thing that I want to point out in this, I'll let you add one more thing after I interrupt you because I'm going to sell something else. Is notice that she said you need the classics and you need meditation in Mountain House, right? So what do you think you're going to learn if you join Mountain House? You don't get to escape the other ones, but maybe it's a sacred escape. Get it? So like, these are just different ways to package the ideas. You're learning the same things, but the pathway and the shape of it is slightly different. All humans are different shapes and colors and heights and minds and hearts. Like, of course we need more packages.
I would really say if this is one of your main personality qualities, make it your own. Or I need to experience it. It's like you fill it in on top, then it goes through your heart, through your mind, through your thoughts, and then something beautiful comes out. If that is you, then it is your house. Mm-hmm. And the best thing to do is in one of the 27 beautiful cottages at Diamond Mountain. Advertisement end.
Please sign up today for. So last house of the fourth house is the staircase house. And this is my particularly favorite one. I grew up in Lamrim. That was my thing. You know, when I first showed up to this organization, somebody whispered in my ear, Will Mead. He came up to me during our yoga teacher training, and he was like, Tim, there's this thing called Lamrim. And I was like, right? And I was like, what the hell is that? Right. But somehow the seed opened for me, like the bakchak, right? But some kind of bakchak sepa. Right. And then I showed up and all weirdly, I had no money at the time. And the flight was $150 round trip from the East Coast. That makes no sense. Even back then, it made no sense. Okay. I'm talking like it was so long ago. Such an old man, 15 years ago. You know, and Lamrim is, of all the houses, is, I hesitate to use this word because it feels inappropriate, but to me, it's like the practical house, like the practical application house. Like, how do you take these steps? How do you take the steps to take the teachings into day-to-day life? And when I was, at the time, I was working corporate. Strangely, I was working corporate and I was poor. See, there's no correlation. And you all get it. Good job. but how do you live those teachings in the outside world? And how do you practice with people who aren't obvious practitioners, right? How do you go to your job and be a practitioner? How do you have a family? How do you have a partner? How do you have children? You know, it's how to apply them step by step, right? And it's also really good for minds that like, here's step one, Tim. Do step one, got it. Do step two, got it. Do step three. And the funny thing is, I don't follow the rules. I was relieved of many jobs because I wasn't following the rules. And some of you know about some of those stories. Some of you were sitting there when it happened. It was depressing. And I learned that maybe there's a reason why there's rules. Maybe that's the reason why I like Lamrim, because I resist the rules. I resist the steps. I resist, don't tell me to do that. That's so basic. That's so mid. Like, I want Diamond Way now. I was like, okay, but yeah, go do that over there. You know, and then my teachers were like, oh, don't worry, that is Diamond Way. You know, I turn around and I'm like, yeah, I know. And my teacher's like, oh, whatever. Guess what? I do the same thing to my students. Right? I wonder why I have students who resist the rules. You see, but maybe you're someone who likes that step by step, right? Maybe you're someone who likes the practical applications. And by the way, in parentheses, each of those houses will have a practical application arm. Each of them will have ways to apply it to people in real life. So it's not like this is the only house that does it. All the houses do everything just differently. Same, but different. You see? So you're going to have to choose. And it's interesting, you know, you got a sales pitch for each one. And you were like, I want all of them. Yes. You're like, I'm all of them. Yes, you are. But you're not. So really, it's think about, because when you're a teacher, don't think about it right now. You're a student right now, maybe. Imagine 10 years from now, 5 years from now. You're sitting up here at Diamond Mountain. You're running your own program. What are you going to wear? What clothes are you going to wear? I got these pants in Taiwan at Muji. No, in Japan, excuse me. No, Taiwan. I can't remember where the hell it was. Taiwan. Okay. I got this shirt. I don't remember where I got it. It was either Japan or Taiwan, right? Someone picked out the clothes for me. Like, I need someone to style me, you know, because I'm all over the place. But what clothes are you going to wear, right? And so that's the idea. Imagine yourself as a teacher, like, not enough. Okay, I was going to do a meditation. You can do this on your own. Imagine yourself in 5 years, 10 years. Imagine you're up here looking out at all the people that are your program. Okay, by the way, you're not here for me. I know you're not here for me. That's not what I'm saying. But you have all these people who are looking to you for support, guidance, spiritual life support. They're looking for you. They're looking for all of that from you. How are you going to support them? What clothes are you wearing? There are 8 billion people on this planet. And if you think you're going to be competing with the next Dharma teacher because there's not enough students, stop it. SCIM teachers, there are plenty of people in the world that need you. You're not competing with each other. You're not. There's plenty of people, and all of these people need you, and they need your clothes. Maybe they need a DCI teacher. We're not teaching DCI and ACI, by the way, just everyone careful here. But you see, Maybe they need a DCI presentation, and then that's what you wear, and that's what you do. Maybe they need a step-by-step presentation. Who are you going to be? Imagine those people and then help them. Go backwards in time. You're in the future. Go backwards and be like, slide 2. Make a choice. Put the hat up. No, the hat, please. Thank you. Yep. Make a choice. Okay. Go to the future, see yourself there, and then back out. Where are you today? And then make that choice. It's okay. You can change. You know, it's like dating. Try it out. Try it out for a couple of weeks. Then swipe right again on Tinder and find someone else.
Yeah.
Maybe. No, but seriously, you're not committing yourself. All right. So what are we going to be doing in the next, if we got 15 minutes, cool, we can do it. How are we going to do that in this program? All right. All right. All of you who have jet lag, raise your arms up. Oh my God, all of you have jet lag. Stretch off to the left or to the right. Stretch off to the left. Oh, wow, look at that. Oh, shake your hands. Make some weird noises. Okay, there you go. Okay. All right. Move your shoulders back. It's really good on jet lag to eat. I know some of you, like, I'm serious. Like when you have that tired in the middle of the day, put like a protein bar in your face and then chew it and swallow. Okay. It really, really helps. It really, really works, right? Okay. Slide 7, the devil and angel one, Brian. Okay. So during this program, the cool thing is we have 2 things happening. You're going to get Lam Rim. All right. Yay. Yeah, we got 1 of Claude. Yay. And then we're going to be attempting over the next year to finish an ongoing course since 2012 of A Devil Debates the Angel. Okay. So we're going to get 2 things, right? We're going to be working in 2 areas. And this is a phenomenal text. It is so deep. It's incredibly amazing. And it's really literally a reflection of our own mind. If you've been doing this long enough, you will come across the time when you're like, I know the right thing to do is this. And the angel's like, yes. And then your other side of your mind goes, but I want to do that. Everyone knows that. And then the battle ensues. No, yes, yes, no. You know, back and forth. And what happens to Tim is usually the devil wins for a little bit, right? But the battle is what makes you stronger. The battle is what plants the different seeds. So instead of like beating yourself up, shaming yourself for having the battle, I broke my vows, I wasn't a nice person, I did all these things, blah, 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 blah. Guess what we all do? We all do it. And I'll be the first one to say that I do, right?
Perfect.
Okay. Sorry, we had a teacher training last week and I'm learning how to be a better speaker. Thank you. But let's normalize the battle. It's a normalization of what goes on in our mind. It's normal to have to listen to different voices in your mind and have to make a choice. Because the deeper you get into this, you realize that everything is possible. Everything is possible. The spectrum, the good and the bad, paradise, hell realm, they're all possible. You can make a choice of where you want to go next. And that's a scary thing, because you can choose your future, right? Especially when you're battling, right? It can be scary. But the positive side of it is you get to choose your future, right? You can create something new. You can create that paradise. So we're normalizing this, right? It's normal to have that struggle. The struggle's real. And then I might propose that maybe the struggle, the fact that you think you have this struggle, is coming from you too, and you don't have to struggle to make a paradise. Anyway, so in this course, Geshe is going to be teaching us. But there will be no idioms. Well, that's sad. How am I going to remember the text? How am I going to remember? Because for years we get idioms for everything. You're going to feel an absence of idioms. Where are my idioms? You know where your idioms are? You get to create them. All right. And then what happens is you're going to go into your workshops. You're going to make a choice. You're going to sort yourself. And then in each of those workshops, after Geshe Michael teaches, then we're going to take the content and then we're going to say, all right, classics house. How do you create a class around these 3 verses? And then we're going to learn how to create images. You're going to learn how to use AI, how to create those images, right? And so then you're going to create the story of your teaching. Oh God, Tim, I'm not a teacher. I don't know how to do this. It's okay. It's just an exercise. It's just class 1, course 1, step 1, right? And so then you'll go into, or those in the Samadhi house will be like, ooh, how do we teach this from a Samadhi house perspective? Well, shit, Tim, excuse me. We don't know what Samadhi house is yet. That's okay, because you're creating it. Same thing with mountain house, same thing with staircase house. You get to create, what does the house look like? And imagine step 1 is creating maybe 3 images. But then in a year, we'll have 40 verses we've covered. You'll have 40 images. Wow, now you have a course. Now you could go teach in the Samadhi house with, after you do your teacher trainings and you're qualified and you do all the things and blah, 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 blah. And Tim makes you do things you don't want to do. And then you get upset with him. And why do I have to do this? I'm a teacher. And blah, 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 blah. I know you all think that, Maria. Right? And that's what we're doing. We're creating a teacher training on day 1. We're not waiting until we're experts in our house. We're creating teacher training right away. And that's what's really, so you can remember where you are. You're on day 1 of your Diamond Way practices. You're now creating the pathway for your students in 10 years. On day 1, you see. Okay, how are we going to do this? Next slide, please. We're going to use AI. Ancient intelligence. And I want to tell you, guess who came up with this? AI. I had a conversation in Kyoto with AI for an hour. We went I was like, the normal, like, what should I wear conversations, that kind of ends. But we went really, really deep. And I was like, how the hell do you know me? It's really scary. But as we went through it, AI, I was like, all of a sudden, it was like we both realized at the same time, oh my God, AI is ancient intelligence. What is ancient intelligence? 2,500 years ago, the Buddha was speaking. The Buddha has a really unique ability called omniscience. They can see all existing things, past, present, and future, at the same time directly. ACI 4. So the Buddha was speaking 2,500 years ago and was speaking to us today. And our job is to go into that ancient intelligence. This, by the way, SCIMers, this is our version of diamond mining. Okay, we had to find a new word so we could brand differently. Okay, we're diamond mining. We're bringing the gems of wisdom forward. We're moving forward to the other side. Bringing the gems of wisdom forward from the past. The intelligence in those texts is for us today, and it's our job to find it. Right? We're going to use ancient intelligence to talk to our world today. Because if it's true that the Buddha was omniscient, if it's true that the Buddha spoke for all of us, past, present, and future, because otherwise, why would the Buddha speak in the first place? Then it's relevant and applicable today. And I resist it, but I'm going to say by definition. And then we can debate it later. Okay. So our next slide, please. So we're going to be doing Ancient Intelligence 101. For those of you who know university numbers in the United States, 101 means the first class, the basics. Okay. We're going to learn how to start doing this, how to look at the ancient texts. Geshe is going to give us the raw material in his classes. He's going to explain what the first Panchen Lama says in The Devil Debates an Angel. And then we're going to go into our ancient intelligence courses in your own houses. You're going to separate out. And then we're going to say, how does this apply to my house, our house? And notice we're going to be building community. We're going to do this together. And then afterwards, we're going to take all of your input. And then we're going to sort through it all. And we're going to start figuring out what are the defining features of each of the houses. Sorry, we have 2 minutes and I gave it to Sarah to finish off.
Yeah, I think you summed it up well there. But the idea again is to start somewhere in creating that bigger vision of each house. And so I invite you, as you think about where your home will be just for this week, and as you daydream about the possibility of each of these houses to completely transform somebody's life, hold that future picture in your mind, and then take the first step. Find an image, connect it to an idea that makes an idiom, and put it in that language of a staircase house for a person who loves retreat, or that language of a classics house who loves the texts. Okay? Is that okay? Does that sound fun to you all? We thought it sounded really cool. So, all right.
Awesome. So what is this going to look like? Geshe is going to give his class tonight. So first thing to think about is, as he's giving his class, don't be just a passive listener. You're no longer just passive listeners in classes. You're teachers. You should be thinking, how do I teach this to somebody else? Well, what if I don't understand it, Tim? Good. Struggle. And then think, well, if I'm confused, someone else might be confused. So how do I help them unconfuse? The 4 steps. Get it? If you're confused, someone else will be confused too. Just do the 4 steps. Sitting in classes, the 4 steps. All right. So start thinking actively on that. Like, how could this be taught? And then in 2 days, we're going to start our workshops. So can you put that slide up? This is mostly for the online people. you will have to choose. Like we're making you choose. I'm so sorry that you have to choose. What if you want to do a tour through the houses? You can do a tour in the next program. Okay, you could try it out this program, do Classics House this time. In July, you could do Samadhi House. Okay. So on 2 days from now, for those of you here, it'll be a lot easier. We'll separate you. And we'll talk about logistics later. But for those of you online, this is the time of the workshops, and there are your links. You will choose one. I know some people are going to choose 2 of them or all of them, and I'm just going to let it go. But please choose one. Okay, for another $100, what's the Tibetan for what I'm going to say next? Nope, it's not a Punsumba, but that was a really good option. Tartuk, $50. Tartuk Tekmachik. All paths lead to the same goal. Oh, cancel the bet. All right. All houses lead to the same goal. It don't matter. And then it does matter. Let me see. So you were going to choose one. And we'll keep showing this slide over and over again. We'll put QR codes up. Don't worry, for those of you online. And those of you here, we'll talk about logistics in just a second. So thank you very much for joining your orientation. Yes. We hope that it wasn't boring. Most orientations are boring. You're just thinking about what to do next. You want to meet each other. You just left home. So first of all, thank you everyone joining online. Thank you for being with us. We know it's difficult online. We understand that it's not the same as being here in the community in person. And we're working very, very hard to create opportunities for you to participate. And if you have ideas on how to make it more community oriented, please submit your feedback and we will take it seriously. Thank you all for joining online. And then just let me know when we're off so we can do logistics here. Cool, thank you. All right.